Narbash is a very interesting support pick in today's meta because FaZe, who is with version 41 going to hopefully fall off a little bit, might start to shine. With that said, I have this deck here today that hopefully will help him be that support that can match FaZe after her nerf. Also, guys, I'm trying my hero decking guides a little bit different today. Please let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this new format. So we start off with, why do you pick Narbash? Narbash is a fantastic support hero with the growth and order affinities. You pick Narbash because you need a very strong support hero in the deck department. His kit is also fantastic as a support, as he can heal people, he can help move people away from danger or towards an enemy to finish the kill, and also has one of the most reliable stuns, period, in the game. He is a fantastic support that can set up plays, save people, and just be an amazing hero. He also works very well as a ult canceller, so there's a Gideon here, as you can see. I was like, Narbash, a perfect counter to somebody like Gideon. Now, the early game deck for Narbash, pretty standard in the support department. Start off with your Guardian's Ward as a dummy ward. You just saw me place that down in the river. Next, you go for the Shepherd's File and Scout's Ward if you don't think there's much pressure in the safe lane, or just get the Circlet of Health, as that gives tremendous health back in lane for incredible sustain. Next is the Lord's Ward. You don't upgrade that into the Quenching Scales. Obviously, fully upgrade that. Then into the Honor the Pure. In there, you can get the Quartz Blade if you have extra CXP for more health, for a little bit of basic spark, and it's just a wonderful card. A little bit of damage goes a long way on Narbash. In the early game, that sustain is fantastic. You also have a Shaman's Drink, which works better than a Mana Potion after about level 5, as that work can be tremendous for his mana pool. Now, the first ability you get on Narbash is your RMB. It's called Thunk. You throw a drumstick that deals ability damage and stuns enemies. It is a tremendous ability of Narbash's that you can use to secure kills. I'm showing you this little clip here that shows Thunk being used, and I'm showing it being missed. It is crucial that you land this ability because you can secure kills on this Chimera, for example. You can interrupt ultimates. You can interrupt people mid-ability. You can do so much. That power scaling at 1 actually means it can do quite a bit of damage. So that little bit of power you can get on that Quartz Blade actually goes it does a fair amount. It's really quite the ability. You need to land this because it is very, very important for Narbash. Definitely upgrade it a ton. After his ultimate, this is the ability you want to upgrade the most, in my opinion, because that stun duration goes up as you upgrade it. That has too much value to simply ignore. Now, the second ability you want to get in lane is called Song of My People. You see it here being used. Narbash starts drumming away and grants health regen to nearby allies. You do drain mana, though, every second you use it, and this is why I don't upgrade this until the very last thing. That little bit of mana per second that you use when it's at a low hero level, or at a low ability level, really, really helps because you have a small mana pool in the early game anyways, so I simply don't upgrade this. You can toggle it on and off to get that small little 10 health regen. That really helps. Don't upgrade this. Save it till the late game because it simply uses too much mana. Guys, it provides tremendous sustain in the early game. You can get a whole bunch of mana potions if you want to simply just convert your mana pool that Narbash gets to health, which also affects your ally and you. That is an option. Simply don't upgrade this ability. Use it when your allies are low on health. The next ability you want to get is his Q ability, March. Now, Narbash kind of cheers with his drumstick, and grants him and nearby allies extra movement speed for 2.5 seconds. Mana cost, don't really have to worry about it, but the cooldown does severely decrease, and the extra movement speed does increase the more you upgrade it. This is a pretty darn good ability. It's the second most prioritized ability to upgrade next to his Thunk, and of course is your ultimate trumps everything. Very important ability for you to use, for you and your allies to engage on a target. You can really surprise enemies, especially in lane, with a march into a Thunk, and then you are right on top of the enemy, and especially if they don't have escapes, you can do a tremendous amount. March, very, very important to use at the right time to help your allies escape or help you engage. The next ability that you get is your ultimate, and boy, it's a deafening ruckus AoE that knocks up enemies and apply a movement speed, slow, deals damage over 3 seconds. This is called Crash Bang Boom, and his ultimate is pretty darn cool. It does a fairly significant amount of damage, but more importantly, slows your enemies and knocks them up. This is a great wombo combo tool that you can use to really help your team engage or keep them in place, engaged for the rest of your team to kind of do things. Now, you have to be careful. It does take a while for it to go off. It's a channeled ability, so you may need to watch out for the enemy stun to happen before you use your ultimate. So, in essence, I'm helping my allies escape by using my Crash Bang Boom to slow my allies, to slow my enemies, to let my allies get away, or it's a great engage tool to slow down the enemy team and letting your teammates engage. It's also great if your team is already engaged, just kind of keep them in place. The damage is actually pretty good. That knock-up, again, is significant. It's just something you layer on top of the rest of your team to just kind of dominate in that team fight. Narbash is the play setter upper. You definitely do that really well, so just make sure that is how you use it. Here in this scenario, the team has kind of tried to engage on my friendly team, but I was like, nope, I'm going to turn around, thunk the phase, go in on my ult on the phase, and just, of course, it happened to the rest of her team, and hopefully that allowed the rest of my team there to win this engagement. Now, in the mid-game, you try to get your Purity Sensor and Nature's Muse, whichever one you need. Then you go into the Quartz Blade if you haven't gotten that yet, and or the upgrades on Honor the Pure and Lord's Ward. Honor the Pure and Lord's Ward, lots of health, simply because you're starting to transition into tanky frontline. You are a melee hero, and you just need to body block. Use that gigantic hero that Narbash is to simply do that. You're going into this health to try to be a tank, because that health, especially on Narbash that he scales and it has the base stats of a caster, you have to be very careful. This health goes a long way. Really need this health first before anything else. This mid-game here takes a while simply because there's a lot of CP in that health. Now, in the late game, you transition even further into tankiness. You've gotten that health on your Honor the Pure, on your Lord's Ward, and you simply replace that Circlet of Health and that Quartz Blade for more tank. We have the Thermobond and Tempered Plate. The Tempered Plate is simply just the best option for that physical armor. But Thermobond, you can also get the Divine Shield if there isn't very many stuns, roots, or knockups on the enemy team, because the Thermobond, again, tremendous value there. 12% of your overall of your maximum health, which you're going to have a lot because you're building health back when you are knocked up. Plus the Divine Guard and the Divine Barrier, really going to work well. But if there aren't those knockups and stuns and roots, you can go for the Divine Shield. What that does is every 45 seconds you can absorb an ability, and especially with Narbash, with that channeled ultimate, you can maybe kind of just forget about you know, that enemy stun that the enemy has. Really, they're not really going to focus you at all, so you can pretty much get away with just walking right up into the enemy team with that Divine Shield and just kind of use your ult, and then finally they go, oh no, an Narbash ult. They try to stun you, but then that stun is eaten up by the Divine Shield. Really good option. That we don't need much barrier anyways, so great cards here for the late game deck. Here are some of the optional items that we have talked about. That health token, simply just one that's in there that you can get simply because supports are very starved for CP. In this little clip here that you guys see, we are just barreling down the mid lane of here, simply just securing kills with our Thunk, with the Narbash Chimera combo. Just tremendous. Narbash can really set up plays and be a really great support for a Twin Blast. Twin Blast that burst, rapid fire grenades. If you land that Thunk, oh, Twin Blast synergizes very well with some good rapid fire, get all 3 shots on that target into some grenades. Really good combo, the Narbash and Twin Blast. Plus, obviously, he can keep him alive. So there's really, guys, not much to say for Narbash. He's a really, really strong support. That Thunk, get people out of ultimate, secure kills, secure people out of position. Peel for your allies, so strong. Your Song of My People, again, don't upgrade that too much. Simply just use that as a very slow, over time, sustain ability, because it simply uses a ton of mana, and you really want to save that mana for your more important abilities, your ult, Thunk, and your March. March, again, use that to obviously engage and disengage, but use it as a mind game as well. Use it so that the enemy team always has to be like, the Narbash can really kind of put some speed boots on his friendly team with a good Thunk, and I'm dead. Really keep that pressure on with your Thunk and March ability. Again, your ultimate, use that to just layer on top the damage and the CC and the stun and the area of effect with the rest of your team to really just kind of put the nail in the coffin a lot of the times. Or, of course, you can use that to peel. So there you guys go. Narbash, very, very strong with the phase nerf that's coming. He's going to be in a great position, and hopefully this deck serves you well. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. If you guys like this content, especially if you found it useful, please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. If you would like to support me and what I do on a regular basis, please consider going over to my Patreon account where you can make a monthly pledge to support what I do and reap some pretty good rewards. Till next time, like always, guys, stay optimistic and positive.